Section 5 is on independent and dependent events. So we're going to have to know the difference between the two events, and then we'll find probabilities that deal with independent, and then we'll also deal with probabilities that are dependent and conditional at the same time. So first things first, what are independent and dependent events? Well, first thing, we have compound events, so we're dealing with two or more simple events. Independent events are where the probability of your first event does not affect the second event. And then dependent is where if I do have the probability of the first event, that will affect the second one. So independent is where they aren't affected by each other. Dependent is where the first one will affect the second one. Okay, so I just want us to try and determine if they're independent or dependent. So letter A, a coin is tossed and then a second coin is tossed. So these should be considered independent in this case. Me getting a heads the first time is not going to tell me I should get a heads the second time. So then in this case, they would be independent. And letter B, in the class presentation example, one student's name is chosen and then not replaced. Anytime you see that not replaced, that is going to be a huge key. And then a second name is chosen. So if I don't replace something, that would make it dependent. If I put it back and do replace, then it would still be independent. But since I did not replace it, it's going to be dependent. Letter C, Wednesday's lottery numbers versus Sunday's lottery numbers. That should not change. Just because what I get on Wednesday should not affect what I get on Saturday. So these would be independent. Events. We'll do 1A as well. A card is selected from a deck of cards and put back. Then a second card is selected. So since we put the card back, that makes these independent events. If I would have not put it back, then it would have been dependent. Last one, Andrea selects a shirt from her closet to wear on Monday and then a different shirt to wear on Tuesday. Unless you did laundry, I would really hope that you don't wear the same shirt 2 days in a row. So we would consider these dependent events.